Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about things I did not knew before I became a doctor. So first thing I did not know before I dive into MBBS was that MBBS study is so long. I mean, we have heard, right? We have heard MBBS is long and stuff like that, but I didn't want it to be too much bothered by that, because if I had thought oh wow, it was gonna be so long and stuff, I would not have been encouraged even to pursue it. So when I was just 16, 17, it was a time when I started my MBBS journey. So I was so naive at that time. I did not even research properly, and fell into this a thought that if I think too much, if I started calculating the duration of MD and stuff like that, I may not even be able to do MBBS, because the thought process would kill me. I was pretty much right about that though. But right now I studied MBBS and I'm in this process where I'm now researching about what next to do. Oh my god, MBBS, it's medical is such a long process and such a difficult process. Even if you made it to become a doctor, the further journey is more tougher, and it's so competitive, and there's so little space for a lot of people. I know there is a shortage of doctors everywhere, but there is not much space for residency, and there's a lot of competition because there is such a less spot for residency. And even in residency, Nepal is not paid well in government. I heard that the money that they pay to a resident doctor is 18,000 to 20,000 to 30,000, which is nothing. And someone who studied in pay, that seems like what? So another thing I did not knew before I became a doctor was that there is not much of security for a doctor. In abroad, there is at least some sort of law protecting doctors and preserving them from a lot of damage that can happen in hospital, because honestly you deal with a lot of critical cases. You deal with the patient who is about to die, and then anything happens to them, you're fully responsible. That is such a messed up thing, because we did not put you in a serious position, and so ultimately to be responsible for all those cases is such a traumatizing and scary situation. And even if you use optimum precaution that you can use in hospital, I'm sure the outcome may not always be great, because that's what it is, right? We cannot challenge God has his own rule and his own thing going on, and we are just one of the people. We're just one who's trying to help someone get through their pain and situation. So if anything happens to patient, doctors are ultimately responsible, and that brings a lot of stress to every doctors working in a hospital. And we try to provide an optimum care, because that's what we are doing, right? We're not doing this for money. I know a lot of people be yeah, doctor are doing this for money, but reality is we have paid more to become a doctor than we are getting paid after a doctor. So it doesn't make sense that we'd screw that up by not taking good care of a patient. I don't know, I don't think that makes sense. Why would any doctor would want to kill you or would do anything to risk their situation? But ultimately doctors are blamed for everything, and the security here in Nepal and Bangladesh and this Asian country is not as good for doctors, and it's getting more and more scary. For me, even if I want to pursue medicine to hardcore medicine, not just surface level medicine but hardcore medicine, I'm still scared to pursue it because of the security problem that we have. Anybody just can come and be all in your space and be would mistreat you, and we have to be okay with that. And it's such an unfortunate thing, but it happens. So that is something I am newly experiencing. So another issue I felt was there is a lack of work-life balance. Whew, that is a big topic, and there is definitely a lack of work-life balance. Even if you're a student, right? Even if you're a student, you have no work-life balance. You cannot like work and pay your student your medical bills, your medical study bills, because the study itself is so tough that you cannot devote your time to something else. You have to give you 100% in medical studies. So ultimately that means you cannot do extra shift or any sort of work to pay your medical bills, and you have to completely rely on your family to pay for you, or like student loan to make it happen for you. So and ultimately even if you become a doctor, the pay as a junior doctor is not satisfactory. It is so less, and it doesn't make sense because it is so competitive. Like, to become a doctor is tough. To if you I'm just like not telling tough, it's like so tough. Like, to enter into medicine is tough. Only the talented of the talented, even if you study in pay, like only the most talented can enter into medicine, because of this system of filtering by giving a lot of exams before you enter. So even if you complete your MBBS, that means you have to be very studious to do that, and you have to put a lot of compromise to do that. And after you come out of that, you feel like maybe you did it, but then in reality, like, it's just the beginning, and there is like what you thought, like, oh, this, my journey is over, right now I made it. It is not true at all. And even if you enter into hospital as a junior doctor have a long hour of shift for a very less amount of money. And you can say like, oh, we can take a less shift. Oh, maybe it is not as easy as saying it. We have the flexibility of taking a small shift or stuff like that, because if you work in a hospital, you go through roster where you are given a certain amount of duty. Like you have to come to morning duty, and you are the only one doctor. So even for a less amount of money, you have to work hard and work more, and so it's very hard to balance that. So there is no work-life balance. And until you're a consultant, you don't have that flexibility of choosing your hours. If you're a consultant, you choose not to earn more, then you have flexibility, but before that, as a junior doctor, you don't. So that's a bummer.